Hello and welcome to Parenting Today. My name is Rebecca Miruri. Thank you so much for joining us. Now today we're going to talk about nurturing your child's gift into a talent. On set are two amazing parents. One is Kering and Rosalinda Acheng, the mother of two amazing girls that we know. And if we don't know them, we'll get to know them today. Now, Kering is mother to Nikita Kering. Nikita Kering is a musician and an actress, a well-known musician who was recently featured on New York Times Billboard. Can you imagine, right in the heart of New York? And we also have Zawadi's mother, Zawadi Kayo. Zawadi Kayo is a TV host and a performing artist. She's currently the host for Club Kiboko. You remember Club Kiboko from back in the day and right now? Yeah, so Club Kiboko on KTN Home. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky.
It's such an honor having you on set today.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Yeah, let me start with you, Rosalinda.
Yes,
Tell us about yourself, tell us about your family, and tell us a bit about Kayo.
Kayo.
Yes.
Thank you, Becky. I'm honored to be on this show. The honor comes back to us. Yeah. So my name is Rosalinda Acheng. I'm the mother to the 10-year-old Zawadi Kayo, who's a gifted girl. From the name Zawadi. Yeah. So that is how we started. I just noticed something off or very special about her, and we kicked off from the time of giving her the name Zawadi. Yeah, so Zawadi is amazing. She's just been herself. She has other siblings. She has a brother whom she's also trying to, they do everything together. So
A younger brother or an older brother?
A younger brother. Actually, okay, there was an advert in which she appears. She was asking for a smaller sister, a younger sister. Then she got a younger brother. And she's like, oh, I still want a brother. I still want a sister. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So yeah, Zawadi has a brother that is mentoring, and a very supportive family, myself, the dad, and all my siblings. It's been a unit of working together. She didn't just wake up to do it on her own. Yes, she's gifted, but there's that foundation that you're forming right now. I believe it's a very strong foundation for her.
Okay.
So, and then she gets support from all of us.
All right.
Yeah.
You'll tell me more about her and when you spotted the gift for you to actually name her Zawadi.
Yeah.
To you, Kering, tell us about your family and about Nikita.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us. An opportunity to share with parents my experience with Nikita and children. My name is Kering. I'm a mother of 5. I say there are 4 adults and 1 preteen. Nikita happens to be 4th born. So a lot of people think she's a firstborn. And yes, and I like how she's put it. It's been support from everybody. It has been a community raising her. I wouldn't say that we were very special in how we were able to identify the talent. I think it's a combination of people just, pointing out that there is something. Just like every other parent, you see a child who is very active and you think, well, she's maybe noisy like the mother, but you don't imagine that's talent. But you see a pastor will say this, a teacher will say this, a neighbor will say this, and that sends a signal. That's for those who may not, may wonder how do you try to identify. But you may be able to notice it in the house, but I think there was a very big role played by the community in raising her. So we support her, Joe and I. Joe is a dad. And the siblings support her. But I also need to mention that I think we have supported all our children to be the best that they can, to excel, to dream, to know that they can achieve whatever they set their eyes on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to that actually,
Yeah.
how you've raised even the 4 other kids,
Yeah.
other than Nikita. Yeah. Back to you. Is Zawadi like there are only 2 kids?
Yeah, I'm a mother of 2.
Oh, a mother of 2. Okay,
yeah.
great. So tell me about Zawadi, right from when she was born. What is it that you noticed in her, or when she now started like expressing herself, that you felt was different? And was the Zawadi name prophetic? What was that about? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Zawadi, it's interesting, some of this, like Mama Nikita is saying, some of these observations that we make. When I was pregnant, and these are stories that I have written sometimes on Facebook, the way we share our journeys. So when I was pregnant, I could notice that when, let's say I'm out, like I'm here right now, doing stuff, Zawadi would stay calm, like just observing, absorbing, until the point that I get home. It happens especially like you go to a function, there's a wedding, there's music in the background. I remember the last one that he had before, just before she was born, we were at a wedding. You know, the noise in the background, the dancing and everything. Zawadi was calm, like she was not there. So I made the joke. I actually made a post on Facebook saying, like, you know, when I got home, it's like she pulled all her instruments, the drums, everything. You know, my stomach was all over. It was her time for entertainment. I'm like, pana huyu mtoto wako huyu ni kama atakuwa mwanamuziki. Imagine that is how it started. So even after she was born, would notice her reactions whenever music was playing. At about the age of 1, we had this session. We had a cartoon. The kind of cartoons that were playing were on CD. Not, you know, the one that she can play and watch again and again. Yes. So my sister came, like you're talking about support system. My sister told me, when Zawadi could not speak by that time. She could hardly speak, like, apart from the what do you call it, proto conversations that children have.
Yes.
Yeah, so she came to us, and she was like, you know, Zawadi has memorized this movie. I'm like, how? What do you mean? She can barely speak. I don't know, she knows, plus the actions. So I took time. I watched the movie with her. Everything.
Word.
Zufu. The movie is called Zufu. We're talking about it the other day. Like, you need to watch that movie again at this point in life. So she was getting that, and I figured, by the way, we need to pay more attention. Apart from the dancing, should mimic adverts. So that is when I know, even with the scripts, like, oh, so she has an interest here,
yes,
and then she can actually execute. Like getting scripts very fast. She could not speak, but she was able to mimic and say those things without knowing the meanings.
Yeah.
So that is how we rolled. We started the first poem. We tried with poetry. I got in touch with the script writer, is Nyakwardani. I was like, Cliff, you deal a lot with talent.
This is at what age now?
This is still at 1.5 going to.
What? You're already
So by the time
getting
she's
her
2,
poems,
yes,
yeah.
because she spoke way early in life, as compared even to the brother who who didn't speak as much until after 2. Zawadi was always speaking. You know, she would wake up. There's a time he was telling our dad, like, Daddy, don't worry, Zawadi speaks a lot. Because he would go and talk and talk. My dad was looking at him. He was like, okay, so what's happening? I said, no, don't worry, Zawadi talks, I talk. And I tell her, to date, you're born to talk. So, Mama, talk. The only thing that we have made sure we do that she talks the right thing, yeah, and in the right way to people.
And I'll get to that. So back to you, Anne.
Yes, Rebecca.
So at what point did you notice Nikita's gift, and how did you now start nurturing it?
I think I can't quite place when we really noticed the gift, because this is a child who has high energy, who is performing. She's a child that every teacher picks to lead the songs and stuff. But I must say, there's one incident, and I had mentioned it in an interview, a past interview, where actually a lady, we were in a shopping mall, and had Nikita singing as she was searching. I think we were looking for clothes. And she actually told me, I think this girl has a talent. And in as much as I had heard Nikita singing for a long time, I think this really sent a different message. And I started being more keen. And then I also now started noticing that, you know, in the estate we were living in Villa Franca near Imaradaima. She got every child. She had also leadership, so she got every child to sing in a band. She had a band for the for the estate. She sings everywhere, literally. She'd go and pick a mic at a very young age and just start singing. If you are listening or not, that's fine. So it's only, I think now, like I say, a teacher is very, very key. A teacher at her school in Riara 10 once picked her to perform Emiko Gay's song, because she had been singing it anyway for a very long time. And what she did that day, I mean, still, fortunately, I recorded it. It's still, we still remember it, and a lot of parents recall that, because she was very young, she sang in Kalenjin, and she was full of energy, and there were like 1,000 parents present, and I was expecting, and I got the baby that night because of excitement, I think, my last born baby. Yeah. So I think that's when we realized now we need to get to the next level, and the next level, get a coach, because it's not just about singing, get somebody to direct the child. And let's see where this goes, how far this goes. And we got a coach, and the coach was working on her voice, and she was also doing piano. But besides that, she was also doing her schoolwork. So because that's the other thing, you know, the child can get carried away, because that's what they love doing. So we were able to align her with a good coach. Now I also started now, you know, doing my research and just looking out, watching TVs, watching parents who have done it before, just to see how this can happen. But key of them was really implanting in her that you can make it internationally. Look at that child who has done so well internationally. You can also do it, which is very, very key for a parent to do, to always reassure the child that it's not just about competition in the estate. You can actually do it and do it extremely well, because there's nothing unique about anyone. Nothing unique about Nikita. It's just a belief, self-belief, and working hard.
And working hard.
Yeah.
And I like it that, you know, both of you have mentioned how you got her a coach. You got her a poem.
Yes,
to actually
very
write
important.
you know, a poem at 1.5 years old. I mean, that was really brilliant. And maybe shortly before we take a break, you can talk about this. How did that now turn out? Because, you know, sometimes we mistake kids for being kiherehere. Let me say that. Like you'd think, oh, you ni kiherehere, you know, anaongea sana, like you're saying, like this, like sorry, you were saying Zawadi can talk.
Yeah.
So how do you shush her without really suppressing that gift?
Okay.
But still ensure that she's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It takes a lot of talking to her. You know, every time she opens her mouth to speak, it's all about mentoring. You know, you tell her, Mama, we always have, you know, the stage one is teaching them about the magical words, for example. Please excuse me and the like. So that is the foundation in terms of communication. So it continues with time. They know what is wrong from what is right. And just make her, what I've done with her is make her know that, well, you'll meet people. You'll meet all sorts of people who are saying all sorts of stuff. But it's just for you to know that this I can say, this I should not say. And I cannot control what people say, but I don't have to emulate the same. So you talk. I tell her, talk. She says, I want to. She started saying, there are videos of how YouTube saying the way she wants to be like Lupita. Even before Lupita got the first award. Yeah, the big Oscar award. When was that, 20?
It's a few years ago, I think.
About 5 years ago. Yeah. Oh, Zawadi told me one day when she was 2, and this is on record, I posted it. Like, Mom, I want to be a superstar. Please make me a superstar. So I was like, okay, what's your understanding of a superstar? It is somebody who just performs and people watch and entertain people and they clap for her or for him.
So she wants to be on stage.
So we started making her superstar in the house. We tell her, do this, and then we clap. Like, you see, you're a superstar. But with time, so it's stuck in her mind. To date, she still says, Hollywood is waiting for me.
Wow.
So while on set one day, a director asked us, she told the director, by the way, I hope to be in Hollywood someday. Then the director went ahead and told Zawadi, you don't need Hollywood. Actually, Hollywood needs you, and we're praying for the same.
Amen.
Nikita is on.
We are in the right company.
Oh, yes.
Billboard in New York.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get that back to that after the break, because I also watched a clip of Nikita when I think like some 11 years ago, when she said that she wants to now start writing her own music.
Yeah.
Now, how do you manifest that as a parent and ensure that, you know, it comes to pass? We're taking a very short break, after which we'll continue with the show. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching Parenting Today. Today we're talking about nurturing your child's gift into a talent. And today on set we have Ann Kering. Ann Kering is Nikita Kering's mother. We also have Rosalinda Acheng. Rosalinda Acheng is Zawadi Kayo's mother. Zawadi Kayo is a host on KTN Home, Club Kiboko. And of course, Nikita Kering is a well-known musician in this country and an actress as well. And joining us now is Dr. Victor Ngani, a medical doctor, a parent, and a junior chess coach, who's also a coach, like junior coach, junior chess coach. And I believe you also coach parents on how to raise their kids. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, so at what point do you start noticing your child's gifts?
Well, it's an interesting question, and I'd want to create a distinction between two things. The first is a child being gifted and a child having gifts. Because, I mean, we define gifted in a very limited way, where these are children with IQs above 130, you know, they're either academically gifted or a certain 5 parameters. So that category, maybe just about 2 to 5% of children will fit in that category. If in the US, for example, then you go to special gifted schools, These are the children who will end up in college by the age of 10 and so on. But then every child has a gift. Now this is very different, and the gift can be in different areas. It's normally not the easiest thing to tell, because many times it takes someone from outside to tell you that this child is displaying something unique, or you may actually notice that your child is a little bit different compared to the children. The most common parameter will be what is called advanced development. So if you compare your child to other children of the same age, you notice that they exhibit different, they are better, they're more advanced. Either they are speaking faster or earlier, or they're reading before the children, or their questions are sharper, or just the way they understand things is very different. And maybe they can begin to write at a very early age, or the way they are doodling or scribbling for a 2-year-old is not expected. So these kinds of things will then allow you to tell that this child has a gift in this particular area, or may even be gifted. The other part you want to pay attention to is the interest. So your child may have a unique interest in something unique. Could be music, could be sport, and at that point, then as a parent, you latch onto that and begin to develop that gift into a talent.
Into a talent.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to talk about the different ways now to develop that. Is it by getting them a coach like they did, like getting them someone who can be able to do it, and how do you do it as a parent? Maybe before you get to the coach, how do you do it as a parent now to be able to develop that gift?
Okay, so a couple of things you have to be very wary of. Number one is that as much as the children have unique gifts and even be gifted, they're children first. And so you must start with the basics. You may be tempted to make them better at what they're doing, but remember, a gift is something a child is born with, and it's not something you're going to create. All you can do is nurture that. And so there is this tendency to sort of push the child as hard as possible to excel in that particular area, and that may in fact kill the gift. And therefore the first rule is, remember that this is a child. Develop the common bonds that make this useful for the child. For example, let them know that they're loved. It's a safe environment. There's structure, that they're appreciated. I love what Nikita's mom said, affirmation. And it's very difficult for someone to be appreciative of a situation where there's failure, especially if a parent is a type A parent. The tendency is, if you don't excel, you may actually be reprimanded, while in fact what works is to have the child appreciated and affirmed. The second thing is to make it fun. So children have an innate ability to understand when they're wasting their time. And I learned this from one of the top chess players in the world, Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura. He learned chess at the age of 7. Now he is one of the few players who can routinely beat the world champion. And he said that when he learned chess, one of the things that allowed him to prosper and get interested was when he won against his stepfather. Of course, he couldn't win against him naturally, but the stepfather lost. And this was to encourage the child, because children learn very easily when they're wasting their time. And children love fun things, fun activities. So if you make it a chore, something very hard and difficult, they lose interest quickly. And whereas they have a gift in it, it may never become a talent they can talk about. So make it fun and enjoyable. And then the third thing that is fundamental also is be a guide, not a coach. What's the distinction? A guide is someone who points in the right direction, encourages you, nudges you. You'll see thematically you're talking about encouragement and about affirmation. A coach, on the other hand, is someone who drives you and will tell you this is what you must do and drills you. And that can be quite difficult for children. Remember, they're children at the end of the day. So these are some of the steps that you may need to take. Now, of course, later in life, if you need to move to the next level, where your talent is something that is recognized the world over, then you must have professional help. And this is where coaches come in, and even this must be structured. Of course, it's very expensive. There are other factors in it. I'm sure the parents will mention this as well. And so there's a lot more in developing this talent. And then finally, if this talent is to be on the world stage, it will take hard work. Hard work not over 1 year, but hard work over many years. So by the time you're seeing Zawadi Kayo, you're seeing Nikita, Kering being what they are, you can bet there are many, many years of hard work, huge expenses that have made them be where they are.
Where they are. So, and I like that you brought that up, because the cost of now developing these gifts into talents. What is that cost like? Is it just monetary cost? What are the costs like before they get to ask you questions?
Oh, they're tremendous costs. So, of course, there's a monetary cost. If you, for example, my own daughter, who's 5 now, she's already quite good at chess. She's a national under-7 girls champion. and I intend that she'll be the world champion. Now, there are estimates globally on what it will cost in terms of tournaments you're going to, travel, coaching. The cost is about 20 million Kenya shillings. That's what it will take for her to achieve that dream. But beyond that, as a parent, you must be available. It means that you make a decision between what you should be doing in terms of work and just being present for your child to motivate them and make them interested. It means that you may have to reduce your own interests and allow the child's interest to become supreme. So you have the choice between watching a Premier League match or going to a recital, and you go for the recital 100% of the time. These are just some of the costs. There are costs that are not customary. In the past, when we were growing up, the main thing was academics. And you must go to school, must do your exams, you must get an A, and you must become a doctor. Music, what is that? Sport, forget football, because football may distract you from, but then things are changing. So you must make a conscious decision as a parent now to understand that life is more than academics, and therefore this child may actually be gifted in an area that is not academics, and this is what you develop. And then it means if you may have to make a little bit of a concession, then that concession is made in the interest of this gifting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions for him?
For a moment, I thought Daktari is reading into my life. because there's something you mentioned, Daktari, which is really, you said a parent should not be a coach, but should be a guide. And let me tell you, it's a very thin line when you're raising your child, and probably with a lot, you don't have technical support and even the money to get that. So you end up almost becoming like a coach. And I was there. And let me tell you what happened. At the age of 14, Nikita says, stop singing. A lot of people don't know that. 14, 15, zero. No music, no. She went to school, and there's a piano. We had even purchased a second-hand piano. She didn't touch it. And I thought that was it. And we decided not to push it and just allow her to get to school and do her stuff and see what this pans out to. And I think part of the reason is because we were really pushing her to get to the next level. You see, get from singing people's songs to now doing, your own stuff.
Music.
But that was not yet, her system was not ready for that yet. And what happens after 3 years when she's turning 16, the Nikita you see today is after that session. Like the ego going back and you've heard the story of the ego. She came back, she was herself, she was doing her music. We allowed her to do her music, not mommy's go sing this. And that is what you see today. So I 100% agree that we have to guide. Not easy, but I think consciously we can know when to bring in a coach and when to be guided. Yeah.
You have a question for him?
Yeah, just a rejoinder to the same. I think we have more or less the same experiences. Sometimes there's an expectation from a parent because your child is gifted in this way. I'll talk about auditions because I witnessed this a lot. And this is perhaps something that will benefit parents out there taking their children for auditions for either, for whatever craft it is, whether it's a commercial, whether it is acting or singing, a parent goes there. I know, like for example, I know what Zawadi can do, but you see, I haven't prepared her to be comfortable. All we're thinking about is excellence in performance. The child goes there, however confident they are, they freak on the stage. Or, in fact, used to happen, you hear a parent telling the other, comparison. Please, let us stay away from comparing children. Like, see, she's only 4 years old. When she was 4, I would hear parents saying that. She's only 4 years old, and see how she's done? You're 12, so you better put your game up. That is the killer of motivation. That is the killer of moral. At that point, the child is doing it for the parent, not because they enjoy doing it. So it is important for us as parents to just let a child to enjoy this, start preparation. Whether or not, what we do, for example, we go for an audition, whether or not we get it, that is a day that we have a treat. Yes, you always treat her. There's also the motivation. There's the talent, there's the passion, but there's also the motivation that comes along with this. Goes back to cost. Some of these things you do for free. You could be auditioning for something that is just going to be a concert and they do it for free. There's fuel involved, there's time involved because you spend a lot of time, like you're saying. Sometimes we even sacrifice. If there's the time that you have your free time, it becomes the child's time. So when you're doing all this, you still have to maintain being stable. I have seen children who are very good cry and lose it. And you know, at that point when they cry, for example, it happens to especially young ones. I was at an audition yesterday, for example. A child was so small, but the mom, you know, Mama,
The
I know you
parents
can
are
do
pushing.
this. Yeah.
I want Dr. Vita to talk about the parents who now don't even push their gifts as we wind up really.
Yeah, it's actually a tough balance, Becky, because many parents don't even recognize that that looks like a gift. You mentioned earlier, they see a child who's hyperactive, questioning, inquisitive, and they think this child is just troublesome, and you even get kiboko. Well, in fact, identifying, noticing that these questions, this is not typical for this age, this is actually advanced. We have great benefits. So it's important for us as parents to understand that we have a big role in identifying and then nurturing these gifts. And so that getting that balance between when you're pushing too much and when you're not doing enough, that's the secret of parenthood. And for that, it just has to be prayer. We just have to pray about it. Because, and I remember my own daughter, the small one, I was more interested in training my elder daughter because she was already a little bit older. She could understand chess. So I was even taking her to a tournament, and I registered the small girl just because she couldn't hang out, do nothing. And she beat an adult in chess. And now my expression changed because I realized she's actually talented in it. And she used to take my phone and play chess by herself the whole time. But once I recognized that she was talented, now I saw potential. And then I became the parent, I became the coach, and now to push her. And that push actually almost made us stop playing chess completely. So it's important for us to understand our contribution as parents to both recognizing and nurturing in a way that is gentle and recognize us as a child.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, we have to end the show. I think we've had a very good conversation, and that's why such shows exist, to be able to just make parents out there know that, that thing, the doodling that your child is doing on the walls could actually be that child can be the next Michelangelo, and you're there telling them, watch out, utachafua ukuta, So I love it that you've been able to share your stories. We had Anne Kering, we had Rosalinda Ching, and we also had Dr. Victor Ngani on set today. Thank you so much for watching Parenting Today. My name is Rebecca Miruri Mulure.
Welcome to Tile and Carpet, where we deal with everything you would need at home, in the office, restaurant, and hotels. We offer solutions to all your needs. We have a wide range of roofing solutions, tiles, sanitary furnishing, and interiors. We have exquisite furniture, elaborate dining sets, and classic comfy beds. Our prices are affordable across board. Feel free to visit us in any of our different branches in Mombasa, Kisumu, and Nairobi. We also do site visits and offer clients with professional advice. You can reach us on this number for the site visit.